Hey, so an author friend of mine asked this interesting question the last time we met up, and I thought it would make for some great content. Not to just promote my book, Late Nights on Broadway, but which is also on sale right now, 25% off the ebook sale. That ends today. Today, as in the day I'm recording this, I'm terrible at promoting. I'll get better at that. I'm terrible at posting. Y'all saw the last post. Excuse me. Anyways, I wanted to answer this question since I have, not have, but I have a lot to say about this idea of trigger warnings on your books, and if anything, if you know anything, if you bought yourself a copy of this, whether a physical or ebook version, or you've read this, you're one of the beta readers, whatever the case is, this book is definitely one that deserves a nice wiping, but a nice also, aside from that, a nice trigger warning if I were to give one. So, what I'm going to do though is instead of giving a trigger warning, I am going to read the back of the book because I feel as though, personally speaking, authors should not be, not should, but they shouldn't feel the way. They shouldn't feel like giving trigger warnings. Let me put it that way. Now, if they want to do it, that's their choice. I'm all about freedom of choice with everything. So if one wants to, that one wants to. But adults or just people in general, if you're going to purchase a book, one of my books, any other book in general, you should know that the back of the book, what you're going to read here, the description, it's not going to tell you everything about the book, but it's going to give you a good amount of information for you to make your decision on whether you want to purchase the book or not. With that being said, though, I am going to read, like I said, this, and this is going to serve as my trigger warning, but you decide whether this book needs a trigger warning or not. In a city plagued by corruption and violence, Black Broadway rises to power as the most powerful Black mob. But their rise to the top is not without challenges. Other mob families in the city are fighting for control over the lucrative extortion ring, and Black Broadway's determination to fight for liberation, justice, and justice for their community puts a target on their backs. The family navigates dangerous waters of the criminal underworld while also working to empower their community. I'm going to fast forward with some things and go to this last line. They must also navigate the dangerous alliances and rivalries within the criminal underworld. Now, there's a reason why I bolden in my vocals, but I made certain words more present, I guess, than the rest of the words, because to me, these are key words that will tell you or give you a good idea that there's violence in this book. Hell, there's even sex in this book. So if you want to get your freak on, if that's the type of, hey, I don't judge over here, let your freak flag fly. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're into, again, Late Nights on Broadway, go check the link in the description box below. On my page, wherever I leave this link, because I know I'm going to post this a bunch of places. But yeah, 25% off today, just the ebook version for the Smashwords store. Now, with that being said, this is definitely a book. I know for a fact because I wrote it, right? But this is definitely a book that one would say needs a trigger warning. But I don't include a trigger warning, not anywhere inside. As you can see, this is no trigger warning here. There's no trigger warning here. No trigger warnings anywhere. Why? Because this should tell you enough about what the content of this story is about. There's going to be violence. There's going to be strong language. Hell, there's racism. I told you there's sex. This is set in the 1950s, so you know it's going to be racist. You know what I'm saying? If these are things that you're sensitive to, I don't want to make light of anybody's sensitivities, but as I said to this friend within this group, I'm going to say to you all, anyone willing to listen, as writers, as creators, we shall not have to be able to walk on eggshells when it comes to our creativity because of other people's sensitivity. That's not to say that we shouldn't be sensitive or acknowledge other people's sensitivity, but as an adult, I'm expecting you to be able to make a conscious decision on whether you want to partake in something and have your own sensitivity levels be at the forefront or one of the deciding factors as to what you could decide to consume. This goes for books, this goes for movies, this goes for music, this goes for a bunch of things in life, honestly. You know, especially a bunch of things in the form of the entertainment business, whatever you do to seek entertainment, whether that's reading, again, watching things, listening to music, whatever the case is, right? So with that being said, us artists, us creative writers, we have every right to include whatever we want within our stories. You don't have to like it. It could be too harsh for you. It could be too dark for you. It could talk about, it could bring up subjects that are just too much for you. That's pretty much okay. You're not wrong for having your triggers, traumas, and things of that nature, but we are not responsible to help you get through that. Also, we're not, here to just coddle your feelings. If this going to feel like, if this seems condescending, you're an asshole, listen, I'll take all that. I'll take all that with the freedom of writing the stories and telling the stories that I want. If me being an asshole also means me being a free individual who gets to express himself within his stories and express himself in general, of course, but we're talking about me as an author. If that means I get to express myself freely without having to worry about other groups of individuals that are probably not going to read the book, because bottom line here, and I'm going to just end it off here, really, if this story is not for you, it's not for you. Those who are going to gravitate toward it, it's for them to read. I know that's something that, an author who wants to sell books should not say. They should be very welcoming, I guess. But man, I mean, yeah, I want to sell books, but I also want to tell the stories I want to tell. And I have other stories that are less violent, not even violent at all. So, yeah, this is just one book. But I thought this book in general was the perfect example to use for this question and for just this topic in general about should authors leave a trigger warning. Again, long story short, it's really up to you. It's up to you. Will you get trigger warnings from me? Absolutely not. Now, if you see it on a platform, on a website, on a bookstore, outside of my own bookstore, then that was their decision to put that trigger warning on the book. It wasn't my decision. My trigger warning per se is really what you read from the back. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But no, what you read, I'm going to get cancer, I don't care. What you read here. You know what I'm saying? Like what you read, and if you crack open a book, even you find it in your bookstores, your local Barnes and Nobles or whatever, it's what you see. That's the trigger warning. If it's too much for you, kindly put it back on a bookshelf so someone else can check it out. And you go get the books, because there are tons of amazing authors out there who have books, who aren't crazy like me, who are not assholes like me. You know what I'm saying? So they deserve some love. So go check them out. And yeah, leave my books for those who, would like to read them. All right. But that's all I have to say as far as trigger warnings. Yeah, I'm not with it.